Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is that time of year again where we all come together and we try and go for that diamonds coin. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the main considerations that we're going to be taking into effect are the form in best of ones in the last 12 months, the recent form, the historical results, and the strength of the roster. But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor, skins.com. Skins.com is a peer-to-peer skins trading website with 0% fees, fast payouts, and a robust instant sell feature. So if you are tired of your current loadouts, browse through thousands of CS2 skins, including ones from the Chinese market with exclusive prices, and find the perfect upgrade in just a few clicks. They also support many regions and payment methods, including options like crypto, Apple Pay, bank transfers, and more. And now, skins.com has also added peer-to-peer trading, so you can buy and sell directly with other users. So whether you're upgrading your inventory or cashing out in your old skins, check out skins.com by clicking the link in the description of this video. Let's start with the teams from the top. I believe that the team that will go 3-0, the first one, would be Bait. Don't know how to say the name. First, I think that the best of one form, this team is probably the best in the world when it comes to being able to overperform in the best of ones historically. They are consistently just beating teams they shouldn't be able to do. And they had this period where in the few majors before where they're kind of winning so many best of ones that they're kind of getting further in the stages than I think they are actually, like, skill-wise are better than. And now also their form is picking up quite a bit. I think a team like this is just dangerous all the time. The best of ones are really, really good. They play Tyloo first game, which could be quite scary, but Tyloo are kind of in really poor form as well. So best of ones are looking really good. And I think if you're going to get teams through to the next stage, you have to be good in best of ones. You have to win games here. So 3-0 for Bait, definitely possible. The only consideration I kind of have is if all the favorites win the first games, they go up against MIBR, which then coming into MIBR, I think they're the other team that would also put in 3-0. I think this team is in good form at the moment. The best of ones, they haven't been the best, but they've won 2 in a row. And as long as they don't play against Bait, which I think is unlikely because the best teams just never seem to win when they should do all the time anyway, they got a good first game. They're in good form at the moment. LNZ, I think, adds a lot for them. Insani and Klim are really good. LNZ will just get fired up. And at CAC, they're absolutely flying right now. They were solid at PGL Bucharest, 2 best of ones in a row. I think they might be too good to not go through the stage. I'm going to put them in 3-0 though. I'm going to go an extra level and say that they'll go 3-0. Okay, so I'm going to go through the advancing stage first because I think the 0-3 is really messy. And the first team I'm going to put through is a team that I think on paper is really good. The form is really worrying right now, but they are amazing in best of ones. They are really, really good at it. So I put Heroic through right now. You need to win at least 1 best of 1 to get through the stage. I think they're good enough in this level on paper to at least win a best of 3. The form is really concerning, like I said. They're still good enough to go through. Oroka going through 3-1, I think would be most likely. And the next team I'm going to put through, I think also will be 3-1, is Game Legion. I think they're historically a team that gets through the majors. They've got Snacks there now, it's more experience. The lineup on paper is just really, really good. People are more in form. It's just historically also, I can't ever remember a time that we ever did it as 3-0. Maybe I'm wrong there. It's always kind of a little bit difficult to go through. And also the first games against NRG who actually are amazing in best of ones, even if their form is pretty terrible right now. Game Legion will go through. I think they are the best team in this stage, to be honest. I think they're the best team. I think they'll probably lose the best of 1. And maybe they even lose the first best of 3. Never known it ever to be easy, so Game Legion will go through for sure. And the next thing I'll put through, it'll be Bet Boom. The biggest question mark you have around Bet Boom is you don't know what the lineup is yet, because I think they're trying to sort visas out. I don't know if Flamus is going to play or not. I think even he doesn't know, so that's a little bit worrying. I think they're the second best team in this stage. And because you don't know what the lineup is yet, I don't think you can really put them 3-0, but I don't think there's any argument to say that they won't go through because, I mean, they're doing fantastic recently. They're really, really impressive. They're pretty solid in the best of ones as well. 64% win rate, not against the best opponents. That kind of gives me a little bit of a worry that maybe they don't go like straight through the stage, like just fly straight through 3-0. I think 3-2, 3-1, very realistic here for Bet Boom. Got experience as well with Boomich. I think they'll go through. Okay, the next one then might be a little bit surprising because I don't think I've really been impressed with them in the past. And I think maybe in pick-ons before I've put them 0-3. But this is a team that is really good at the moment in best of ones. They're really good at upsetting teams. They had an amazing Draculan. They beat Liquid, they beat Aurora, they beat Monty, they beat Alliance, and they even took a map off Mouse the other day, which is maybe not as impressive as it was in the past. I think almost even I had them as 3-0, but I changed my mind because I think they're a little bit too shaky in best of 3s. But I'm going to go with M80. to go through. I think they'll just have enough to go through. There is a potential here they're going to sneak through and ruin pick'ems by going 3-0, but we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think they're quite good enough to win the first best of 3 to play, so they'll go through, I think. All right, the next one then I think is my real dark horse, and this is one that's a little bit worrying because I think it's really hard to actually pick just 6 teams that are going to advance and not go 3-0. I think this team is a dark horse. This is going to be more historical. It's got a lot of experience in the lineup, but there's a big question mark. And that is that Fur is playing at 34 years old. He hasn't played in some time. I'm not sure quite how long it's been, but they've just changed him out for Phelps. This team is really, really good in best of ones against good teams. They're a little bit hit and miss with best of 3, so I'm kind of hoping a little bit that they get through the best of ones, win at least 2 of these, and then get a little bit of luck maybe, get a good team in the best of 3s. I think Fur's playstyle as well, when you go to the major, everyone's very nervous. If Fur is playing like those active, annoying T-side roles, which he always has done in the past, some risk-taking on CD side, I think he can really upset teams. And this is a team also I think most teams will expect to beat Gaming Gladiators. I think that could work in their favor. They are playing Bet Boom first game. There's a little bit of conflict of interest there in terms of my pick'ems. Either team can win that one. I think both these teams are good enough, and that is a real dark horse for me there. This is going to be one of those where you look back and think, oh no, this could go 0-3. But we'll see. I think I have enough faith in them, and I think the rest of the field hasn't done enough to convince me, and Gaming Gladiators are in that category. I'll do some quick mentions then. So this is teams that I think won't go through, and I think they're too good to go 0-3. So the first one I'll say is NRG, and that's nothing to do with them being too good, but in best of ones, they're one of the best teams in this entire stage at best of ones historically in the last 12 months. And I think they're good enough to just about win a game, even though their form, which is incredibly important at the major, is shocking. They play Game Legion first game as well. That could be a scary one. They could sneak a win in there. I don't think they'll go 0-3, but it wouldn't shock me. And then also I'm going to say Sharks. They recently beat 100 Thieves, but then they lost to Big and NIP, and NIP are kind of a little bit worrying as well to lose to NIP this close to the major. They've only played 1 best of 1 in the last 12 months. I think they'll win a game, but they do have a heroic first game as well. And I think just because I don't think they're bad enough to go 0-3 against most teams, but if they have a little bit of a bad run and end up like playing a Liquid or something at 0-2, then I could see it happening. But I think I'm going to keep Sharks away from that conversation. And then the other team, which I think is probably very fortunate, is FlyQuest. I think they're in horrendous form right now. They lost best of 3s against Tyloo. They lost twice to Gigi How, I think, and a team called 5 Star, who I don't even know. That's a Mongolian 5-man lineup. But they are usually amazing in best of ones. They do normally go through the stage or go close, go 2-0, then 0-3. And because of that, I think they will win a game, but it'll be a best of 1, and I don't think they're going to go through. I think that period of maybe flipping it over and going through to the next stage, I think that's done now with this lineup. The form is really poor. I don't think they'll go 0-3. Maybe with some bad luck, it could happen. And first game, they're playing against Sinners. It's winnable, for sure. Which then brings us to the 0-3 teams. And I only have one team which I'm happy about here. So that will be Thunder Down Under, unfortunately. They haven't really played anyone this year except for Lin Vision. And I think Lin Vision are in this category for 0-3, and Thunder Down Under lost to them. So no experience for these guys. This is worrying. And they play MIBR first game, who I've going 3-0. So I think they're going to be a fast 0-1. And I think they have the lowest seed, second lowest seed they have in the whole tournament. So they're going to get some bad matchups as well. So 0-2 is very likely, and they don't really have the experience. I'm very worried for them. And then the other two teams that I have to throw in there, I have really bad feelings about Lin Vision right now. I think in the last pick'ems, I think I've always put them to go through, maybe even 3-0. They lost to a really out of form Paravision 2-0, I think yesterday. They got destroyed by Mongols in the best of 1. They beat NIP, but it's NIP at the moment. It just seems like everybody in this list is beating NIP at some point. And they haven't really played any big tournaments this year, but they're pretty dominant in their region. They have M80 first game, who I've going through, who are really good in best of 1s, and Lin Vision, along with Liquid, are the worst teams in best of 1s of anybody. I think when I looked, I think they're 5-11, something ridiculous. 5-11, 31% win rate that is, and they're in poor form. Lin Vision is scary. And then, like I just said, the other team that I'm really worried about, Liquid. And I can't believe I'm even saying this, because on paper this team should be in the conversation for 3-0, but it isn't. So the biggest worry I have for Liquid is they are horrible in best of 1s, really bad, and I'm shocked by that. But they are terrible in them. So 4 wins, 10 losses, which is 29% win rate, the worst of anybody. Their form is terrible. It should be an easy 0-3 pick based on all of the stats and everything. And what I think as well I need to mention is they shouldn't even be at the major. They had to change their lineup. They sneaked in by a technicality, but they did beat 3D Max the other day. They won a map against the Mongols, but still lost. They've got big first game, which is scary, and big are quite strong in best of ones, and they have a really low seed. It is really tempting. I could really see this happening, but I think they're too good. I think their lineup, for example, against someone like Sharks, it's just too strong, and it's not like they play terribly. They have their flaws, of course. Their form and the pressure on them is really, really worrying, but I'm gonna go for Lin Vision. And yeah, like I said, if you've watched this channel before, you know that I'm usually very high on Lin Vision, but right now I have bad feelings about them. So who's going to take the final spot? So I've got it down to 3 candidates. I have Tyloo, who recently lost twice to GG How. They lost to Pain and lost to Legacy once recently. In best of ones, a 50%, 6-6, a little worrying. Kind of tells you he's not going to go 3-0, probably not going to go 0-3. The lineup should be strong in theory, but then those results kind of say that something's not quite right. And they have some history at the majors. They also play B8 first game. I think that's also a worry for me. Then we have Sinners, who are in the last 10 best of ones have won 8 of them, but they're not playing against very good opponents in these games. The form is okay. I think they're more towards going through than they are going to 3-0 for sure. I think the lineup of players is solid, but they don't really have like hard carries. And then the other team that I would consider is Big, and I think Big are probably the hardest team to judge in the entire list, even more so maybe than Thunder Down Under, who I know nothing about. So somehow they've barely played anyone strong this season, and yet they've made the majors. I think that kind of is a testament to how well the management have sorted things and making sure they have a really good run to get there, because in that sense, amazing, S-tier sort of planning. The roster on paper is really solid. If anything, it should be like a really good team. The best of all results are really good. They have experience, but they lost very recently to Namiga, to NIP, and Heroic, who are all kind of this level of stage, and that's a little bit worrying. And they have Liquid first game, who the statistics say Big should win, but it's not an easy game by any means. I mean, in theory, on the lineups, it should really be Liquid winning that game. So it's a little bit worrying. I can see them, I can also see a world where Big just go 3-0. I really do. And I can also see them going 0-3. So I don't trust them yet, and somehow they've avoided giving us anything to go on. So Big is like a vibes pick. And I think based on the lineup, I'm going to go for Big. This is a weird tournament for them. It's almost like a free hit, I feel, where after this tournament, the expectations are going to go up because they already made the major. They're going to expect to do better. So this is probably the least amount of pressure this team will ever have on them. Liquid first game could be a bit of a blessing, because then the game afterwards is less likely to be as much pressure, because Liquid on paper are one of the strongest teams at the event. But I'll go for this for now. I'm really confident about this. There's some really, really strong teams here, and then the level kind of drops off quite a lot. So let's go for this. Diamond coin, like I said. If you disagree, put it in the comments and tell me who you think is going to go 0-3, 3-0 instead. This is the ones that, if you don't nail these ones, you're in a bit of trouble. But as always, thank you for watching, and see you next time.